Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel. My name is Jack and this is your latest Manchester United news, and we've got a big show. Only 24 hours ago we were talking about Man United's disappointing loss to West Ham in the Premier League, and since then we've had the manager been sacked in Erik ten Hag, and it looks like a replacement is coming very, very soon in the form of Ruben Amorim. Absolutely unbelievable news coming out today, guys. If you missed the video earlier, we were discussing, obviously, Erik ten Hag was after being sacked by Manchester United, and you know, I'd say maybe an hour after we went live, we started to hear some reports around Amorim, and it just got stronger and stronger and stronger, these reports. So we're going to talk all about it, guys. I've been doing my homework. I've been researching this guy. Didn't know an awful lot about him up until today, I won't lie. But I've been looking at some reports on him, some articles, some videos, so on and so forth, and we'll go down through what I've seen personally, and some of the articles that I've read have been discussing about him. But get your thoughts in, as always, guys, into the live chat. We've got a poll running on the live chat. Who do you want to be the next Manchester United manager? We've got Amorim, Nagelsmann, Emery, and then somebody else. So it's pretty conclusive so far. Amorim with 73% of the votes there. So get your votes in and get your comments into the live chat, guys. Smash a like on the video. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel as well. I will jump straight into it. So around tea time, around 6 o'clock, David Ornstein put out on X breaking news, and it was exclusive. Manchester United are working on a deal to appoint Ruben Amorim as head coach. United are ready to pay the €10 million release clause and are in talks with Sporting to finalise the deal. The 39-year-old Portuguese is open to accepting the move. That's coming from, obviously, Ornstein, Laurie Whitwell, Adam Crafton, all the heavy hitters when it comes to Manchester United and, you know, the top breaking news in football globally. And yeah, I mean, it caught on like wildfire. Everybody was jumping on it. Fabrizio Romano kind of backtracked a little bit on himself. He said it wasn't as shored up as they were saying, and then he kind of retweeted it in support. He says Manchester United have approached Sporting for Amorim as he is now the favourite candidate to replace Erik ten Hag. Contract terms have also been discussed with Ruben Amorim's camp in the recent hours. We've also got Pletty coming out of Germany. He says Ruben Amorim is very open to joining Manchester United with immediate effect. And then from the Portuguese side, we've got Mate Moreto saying Manchester United have already contacted Ruben Amorim. Talks have been ongoing for several days, and he is currently the firm candidate to succeed Erik ten Hag. Negotiations will continue in the coming days. The Portuguese coach has a release clause of around €10 million. So yeah, look, everybody talking about it, everybody reporting on it, and yeah, it's good news. It's one of the names that I said I thought and I wanted as Manchester United manager. If we did sack Erik ten Hag, he's a young up and coming coach, and you know, when you're talking about real availability, you know, we mentioned earlier today that I thought it was going to be hard to get the likes of Nagelsmann away from the German international job. It would have been difficult to get the likes of Unai Emery out of Aston Villa. But, I mean, we're talking about a guy here who Liverpool were looking at in the summer. You have other teams like West Ham were looking at him. But the main one is that Manchester City see him as a prime replacement for Pep Guardiola if he leaves in the summer. So this guy's stock is rising, and it's quite high at the moment. And I think Manchester United and Ineos are pouncing as quickly as they possibly can. To be honest with you, you know, when we think about, you know, everything that's gone on in the past few weeks, maybe even the past few months, it's, I mean, I have a feeling, in the short term, I have a feeling that Ineos made this decision a few weeks back. I honestly have the feeling. I think maybe it was probably around Tottenham, maybe, that they decided probably that they were going to part ways with Erik ten Hag. The reason I say that is because the deal for Amorim has come about so quickly. It would be ludicrous to think that we just started and we just made contact with Sporting Lisbon today an hour after sacking Erik ten Hag. It would not happen that quick, in my opinion. I don't think it could possibly happen that quick. I think Ineos made their mind up a couple of weeks ago about sacking Erik ten Hag, and that they've been working on a deal in the background. And is that fair on Erik ten Hag? No, it's not. But that's how football works. You've got to be cutthroat. You've got to be ruthless. And I think primarily what Ineos maybe have been thinking is that let's try and limit the amount of time we've got an interim manager for. Behind the scenes, we know we're going to sack Erik ten Hag, but let's try and get the replacement ready to go. So when we do sack Erik ten Hag, we might only have an interim manager for 3-4 days, maybe a week, whatever the case may be. And I think that's probably what Ineos have done. Again, it doesn't seem like the fairest of things that would happen to Erik ten Hag, but for the stability of Manchester United and, I suppose the overarching health of the club and what's best for the club, I think it has to be done this way. It honestly does. You see other teams and clubs do it, when they sack managers mid-season. They've got a replacement in within days, sometimes even hours. And that's because, deals were being done behind the scenes before the actual manager was sacked. But I want to get your thoughts, guys. I'll go down through. I've got some pointers and some notes taken on what we're to expect from Amorim if he is to be appointed the next Manchester United boss, around maybe some of the key traits of his management style. We've got some tactical information there as well. So we'll go down through it all. I'll get through some of your comments here first to see what you guys think. Get your comments in. D says, if this deal is done before the end of the night, then I'll be thoroughly impressed by Ineos. Reece says he's 9 wins from 9 in Liga Portugal, which I know he has the best team in Portugal, if not the second best. It's the Portuguese league, but it's still impressive regardless. I'll give him a try. Yeah, look, it is very impressive. He's done really good things at Sporting Lisbon. He's won Sporting Lisbon their first league title in 19 years. You would always, consider Sporting Lisbon to be one of the best teams in Portugal, but they hadn't won the league in 19 years before he arrived, and he won it in his first season. Absolutely unbelievable. And regardless of the stature of the league that he's managing in, you're managing against similar players and similar qualities, and you've just got to go out and win. So, look, it's an unbelievable achievement on his behalf. Barry says, this is a huge decision for Ineos, their first manager. I hope to get it right. Well, we mentioned that today, Barry, on the Erik ten Hag sacked video, that, this is Ineos's honeymoon period over now. It's over, because this is their first appointment. Erik ten Hag was not their manager. They did not appoint Erik ten Hag. This is now where they have to get it right. I think they've done really, really good things behind the scenes at United so far in appointing the likes of Dan Ashworth, Jason Wilcox, Omar Barada, Vivel, all of these types of people, getting the structure right. But now the most important appointment is the manager, and they've got to get this one right. And it looks like they're going for Amorim. It doesn't look like it's going to be anybody else. I think he's absolutely nailed on to be the next Manchester United manager. Reece says, they seem to have gotten almost everything right except the fact that they kept Ten Hag for so long. Well, maybe that was the reason why they kept him after the last international break, is because they've been working on deals in the background to try and make the transition from one manager to another as seamless as possible. So yeah. Let's see, what else have we got? Daryl is in, good to see you. Barry is there as well. Dylan says, Ineos are no F around men. They're serious men, no joke, absolutely. He also says, if Amorim doesn't work, okay, but at least he will have a better play style than Erik ten Hag. Let's see what else we've got here. D says, I'll take Amorim, absolutely. I'd rather have Keane, but get him in, give him a summer transfer window and see what he can do. Well, look, I mean, he knows at least one player in the Manchester United squad anyway. He brought Ugarte through with Sporting there as well, and developed him into the player that he was, that PSG spent so much money on. So he's got one familiar face when he does go in, and if he does go into the Manchester United dressing room. Warren says, my biggest concern is 2 Premier League clubs already showing interest and gone elsewhere. A change is as good as a rest, but I think Prem experience would trump young enthusiasm. I got this on as a comment on one of the TikTok videos, about, we should be going for a Premier League proven manager. Sir Alex Ferguson, Arsene Wenger, Jose Mourinho, Antonio Conte, Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, Carlo Ancelotti, none of them had Premier League experience, and they all won the Premier League. That argument is over. That argument is absolutely 100% over. Connor says, Halloween on Thursday. Will Manchester United win on Wednesday? I hope so, Connor. I hope so. Oshin is in. He says, I think he's on hiding to nothing. Expectation and morale are on the floor. So the only way is up. There we go. Let's see, what else have we got? Issa says, so people have been voting for Amorim. The news had made people back him. Well, maybe so. I mean, I mentioned him before Erik ten Hag even got sacked. So we've been speaking about him a little bit on this channel. But it was all in hindsight because Erik ten Hag was obviously still in place. You know what I mean? Let's see. Brian says, timing of the decision seems strange, but it clearly was made before the West Ham game, and talks with Amorim seem to have been ongoing for weeks. Yeah, well, that's what I would say, Brian. Again, I go back to what we've said there. It looks like Ineos have been covering all bases here, and rightly so. They're the owners of the football club. They're entitled to do what they want, and if they want to appoint a new manager, why wouldn't they have somebody in place before they sack the current manager? They're still paying Erik ten Hag while he was there. Now, if they decided to keep him on for 2 or 3 weeks while they were negotiating with somebody else, they're still paying him his wages. You know what I mean? He's under contract until they relieve him of that contract and pay him out. It legally bound and done. So yeah, I mean, getting on to the actual. Sorry, I'll read that one. Derek says, I won't pretend I know anything about him as a manager, but the club needs a manager who comes in and uses our players to their best, not another manager to come in and try and stamp a playing style. Well, that was a good point, and one that has been used an awful lot online today. I've been hearing and seeing people talk about, is that we should be getting somebody similar to the style that Erik ten Hag has already played. Now, that doesn't mean go out and play the exact same way as Erik ten Hag, but maybe a formation, maybe a tactical approach, a high press, a transition team, whatever the case may be, so that the players are not winning again. You're going to get another manager in, and Ineos are going to say, this is how we're playing as a football club, and we're going to appoint a manager that suits the way we want to play, and not a manager to try and get the best out of the current players that are in the squad. And I think that's quite important as well, because I think if we do that, then I mean, the transition between one manager and another, is not as big. 100%, it's not as big. Anyway, let's get on and talk a little bit about the manager himself. Look, we know an up-and-coming Portuguese manager and has been doing really good stuff at Sporting Lisbon. Very dynamic, and I suppose you could say probably a modern coach, a young modern coach. Obviously he turned Sporting into title winners after the first season. The one thing I would say about him, from what I've read on him, is that he seems to be very flexible in his approach. We know straight away that primarily he likes to employ to deploy his teams in a 3-4-3 formation. And I think because of that, and what I've read up on it, it's basically, it allows his teams to transition smoothly from attack to defence. And I think for that reason alone, when we're talking about Manchester United historically, with the likes of counter-attacking football, and, Ten Hag, for example, did want and did mention that he wanted to turn Manchester United into the best transitioning team in the world. This guy, with the way he sets up, looks like it's very similar in how he likes to transition and how he likes to, go from defence to attack and vice versa. He's very big on youth development, and that's vitally important as a Manchester United manager. The whole structure and the foundation of Manchester United is built upon youth. all the way back to Sir Matt Busby, and the fact that, back, I think it was 1940s, we've had a graduate, an academy graduate in the first team squad on every match day since then. That is absolutely key. He does have a strong focus on nurturing young talent at Sporting Lisbon as well, with a lot of players coming up through the academy that have got into the first team, which is very, very important. Another key attribute that I've seen an awful lot being written about him, and I think it's very important going into the Premier League, is he likes a high press. And we've seen it, I suppose, gain an awful lot of popularity over the last few years, along with Jurgen Klopp and the Gegenpress and so on and so forth. This guy likes high pressing. He values proactive, high-pressing approaches and emphasising quick recovery of possession. And I think that's vitally important, especially in the Premier League with the high tempo and the amount of teams now that are looking at, possession-based football. Winning the ball back as quickly as you possibly can when you lose it, I think, is something that any Manchester United fan would be delighted to see. And, There's this rule that you see floating around an awful lot, that you see it with a lot of modern day managers, that when you lose the ball, win it back within 10 seconds. Win the ball back within 10 seconds. And if not, at least try your absolute best to win it back. And if you don't, you get back into your shape and back into your formation. But if you lose the ball on, the left wing, 10 seconds, you can go wherever you want to try and win that ball back. And if you don't, you get back into your shape. And it seems like this guy is a big advocate of things like that. Third one, like I said, is adaptability. He's well able to tailor his tactics and his formation as well. When it comes to, having the likes of injuries or so on and so forth. Like we said, he likes to play a 3-4-3. And I was reading two articles that mentioned this last season. He switched to a 4-2-3-1 when he got a couple of injuries throughout the season. And when he did switch to a 4-2-3-1, I think he'd done it for 6 or 7 games, or maybe more. I can't remember how much the article said. Regardless, he won 67% of his games when he switched his formation, which is absolutely fantastic. Really, really is. He also, as well, likes a very player-centric approach. He likes building relationships and motivating players. Now, we know that that's been an issue at Manchester United for a long time. I don't think it's as big of an issue anymore, with the new signings that we've got in. Well, with a lot of the new signings we got in, I think we're starting to see a change. When you've got the likes of Martinez, Onana, De Ligt, Bruno Fernandes, Rasmus Højlund, these types of players, Delot, Mazraoui, all in your squad. I think there is a good... I think there's a good environment within the Manchester United dressing room. When you think back on what we used to have with the likes of Pogba and Lingard and even the Ronaldo days and all of that, leaks were coming out and, social media FC. I think it's improved an awful lot. That does, you have to give some credit to the likes of Erik ten Hag for that. We're by no means the finished article in terms of the squad. And like we said, it's going to take a few more transfer windows to get, to really get the squad, 180 from where it was. But look, I certainly do think it's been a good start. And the final, I suppose, trait that I took away from the reports, and one report in general was really, really good about, and this is going to be vital for Manchester United if he is to be appointed our next manager, is he loves data. He loves data. He's data driven, which a lot of young managers are at the moment, and Man United do have a lot of data analytics within the club. However, I don't think we utilise it as much as possible. Amorim was very big on bringing in the GPS tracking into training with players, so not just in games, but bringing it into training as well. And this will be music to Manchester United fans' ears. Is that when he brought in these GPS tracking into training and games and so on and so forth at Sporting Lisbon, they've seen a 20% reduction in injuries throughout the whole squad and throughout the whole club, I think, because they implemented it down through the youth system as well. A 20% reduction of Manchester United's injuries is something that we can all get on board with. You know what I mean? So look, I mean, it's really, really good. Some of the information that I've read on him and that I can, that I can find on him, and I mean, look, we all know that the Portuguese league is not the Premier League. Of course, it's not, but I go back to what I've said, and people talk about, should you be going for an experienced Premier League manager? No, you shouldn't, because all of the managers that I mentioned, Ferguson, Wenger, Mourinho, Pep, Klopp, Ancelotti, Conte, all of these managers had no experience in the Premier League, and they went and they came and won it. You know what I mean? So there we go. The 3-4-3 is the big one now. That's what everybody is going to be talking about. The actual formation, how are we going to set up? And I think a little bit back on the transfer window just gone. Now this could be complete tinfoil hat and conspiracy theory here, but we're Ineos thinking way ahead with the likes of this guy who likes to play a 3-4-3 when we went out and signed both De Ligt and Lenny Yoro, because I would urge you all to go out and try and find a Manchester United fan that would not be excited about a back three of De Ligt in the middle, Lenny Yoro on the right, and Alessandro Martinez on the left. You know what I mean? I think it would be absolutely fantastic. We have the players to play 3-4-3 as centre-backs. Now, the issue here for me is I don't think we've got the wing-backs for it, okay? Delot, maybe so. I think the left side is a big concern. A big concern if we're to be playing 3-4-3. Who do you play there? Do you play Mazraoui there? That remains to be seen. I'm not too sure. If you're going with a 3-4-3, you are going to have two central midfielders. Now, 3 doesn't fit into 2, which we're used to seeing with, let's say, Ugarte, Menu and Bruno Fernandes. What happens there? Because one of the big players that we have now in our team that starts all of the time won't start in a 3-4-3. I think Bruno Fernandes, do you drop Bruno Fernandes or do you drop Kobbie Mainoo? I think more likely is you would probably see Bruno play on the right-hand side maybe. But that means then that you're going to drop someone like Garnacho or like Ahmad or like Rashford. But it's not a bad complaint to have, and I think it means that you just create more competition within the. Who knows? Is he going to deploy Garnacho as a wing back? Is he going to deploy Bruno Fernandes as a right winger? Who knows? But the 3-4-3 is something that I certainly can get on board with, especially with the centre backs that we have. I think it would really suit us. I really do. And like we said before, it allows you to transition from defence to attack a lot easier. There's a great. Let me see if I can find it. There is a great explanation to this on, if I can find it. I don't know where it's gone. Yeah, I can't find it. I seen it on Twitter. It basically breaks down Amorim's 3-4-3 and how he plays out. So basically what he does is his two centre backs. So let's say we had a back three of Yoro on the right, De Ligt in the middle, and Martinez on the left. Basically, what would happen is for goal kicks, the two centre backs split wide, and the central of the three centre backs pushes up into midfield. Okay. So you've got your two centre-backs like you normally would see on the edge of the 6-yard box as normal. And they're there looking for the ball. And basically what it means is your goalkeeper comes out and plays as the third centre-back, with De Ligt in this example would move up into midfield to make a double pivot. And basically what it means is it's trying to get as many of the opposition players to be attracted to our penalty area. And what it does is it leaves a huge gap between the opposition's midfield and their backline, which our attacking players then would vacate. So then you all automatically then play the ball into them, and then you're on the transition forward. So that's basically what he tries to do. However, there are some alternative ways that he approaches it. It's not that regimented like we see, for example, with Erik ten Hag. He doesn't change. Basically, some other times what you see is you see the two centre backs come narrow, push another one out, and you actually make a 4-2-2-2 nearly, and it just rotates a little bit differently. So look, I mean, he is very adaptable, and that's a good thing, and it's something that we haven't seen with Erik ten Hag currently, or over the past couple of years. So look, I mean, just from the couple of hours that I've been researching this guy and what he is all about and what he could potentially bring to Manchester United, I'm excited if he is to be the next Manchester United manager. I honestly am. Now, he's going to need the support. He is going to get rinsed by the media, and I tell you exactly why. He is not the choice that the mainstream media want as Manchester United manager. They just don't. They want to see somebody like Nagelsmann come in, or Emery goes from Villa to Manchester United, because it's a bigger story, it's a bigger headline. They're going to crucify this, or they're going to try. They're going to put out all of these negative talks about him and the usual nonsense that comes around a Manchester United manager. And it's up to the fans. It's up to the fan base. It's up to all of us to get right behind him if he is to be the next Manchester United manager. He's 39 years of age, young, hungry, wants to be successful, and has got a lot of good ideas and good approaches to the game, if you ask me. So I'm all for it. I am all for it. Let me get a drink of water here, and we'll go down through your comments. Get your comments in. Post, Quagmire says, when did you mention Ruben in any of your videos? I've not seen it. We mentioned him on YouTube a few times, Quagmire, so we did. Now, let's see, YouTube, where are we? Let's scroll back here and get down through some of the comments. Where are we? Chris says, let's go attacking football. Derek says, I won't pretend I know anything about him. I think we read that already. Yeah, we did. Let's see. He's also 2 wins and a draw in the UEFA Champions League this season as well. Says the Sky Sports are on some absolute waffle. Apparently Amorim could be great in Man City job, but hasn't enough on the CV for United. Also saying no other clubs decided otherwise. Yeah, nonsense. All nonsense. David says, I nearly spat my coffee out when I read the Amorim news today. Huge call by Ineos. Can he bring... I can never pronounce that lad's name. Guy Carez, is that how you pronounce it? With him? Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, that would be nice. Chris says it as well, wrote to Guy Carez. I think that's how you pronounce it. If it is, just give me a thumbs up. Garrod says, get Ollie back. No thanks, and you spelt it wrong. D says, get Amorim in. Give Rude the game on Wednesday and then Thursday. All Hallows Eve, we rise for the fucking dead. Do you know what I want though? I want Rio to get this game. I want him to get the game on Wednesday. I want him to get the game on the weekend, and then I want Amorim in. The reason why is because I'm going to the game next week, so it'd be brilliant to be at the very first game of his reign. So I'll be in Old Trafford next week for that. Can't wait. Let's see if he comes and has a start that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had. That would be great. It certainly would. This is where every other team will be shitting themselves, because if Ineos get it right, we're back. Yeah. Well, look, a long way to go, but let's not get carried away with ourselves. Do you think we'll get Amorim? Here we go tomorrow. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I mean, if it's going as fast as the initial, sack Erik ten Hag, now we're linked with this guy, then I wouldn't be surprised if we do get it. Taffy is in. Good to see you. Oshin says, Amorim might need backing in January. Be unusual for United, but I think Ineos will back him in his first window. Yeah, I mean, especially on that left-hand side, Oshin. I think if this guy is to play a 3-4-3, get him a left wing back. Get him a left wing back, because we need it. We really, really do. Dizzle says, Beleg's piece on BBC was very promising. Let's see. Laser says, Amorim's news is very exciting for the future. He gives me good, positive feeling I have not had for a long time. There we go. Let's see. Chris says, we have players to play it already. It's just change in philosophy. Left side is a concern already. Yeah, that's true. Absolutely. Left back has been a problem for all of last season and now this season too. Dylan says, you could play Bruno right wing, but it will be rotation as well. He won't be favouring players. Rick says, hello. Jock is in. He says, evening, Jack. I think it's going to be good. I just lost hope with Erik ten Hag. Too stubborn and had favourites. I have watched a few sporting games. He does like high intensity and possession. Nice style of play. There we go. David says, the idea of a back three always got me excited, especially with the players brought in the last few windows. I like the idea of a young manager coming in and trying something even relatively new. There we go. Absolutely. What else have we got down here? Let me see. So he will leave UEFA Champions League for us. We still got the pull. Well, he's also leaving the Portuguese league for the Premier League. If he does leave, you know what I mean? So, yeah, there we go. Sean says, United squad nowhere near equipped for Amorim's style of play or for any particular style of play for that matter. Another huge rebuild incoming. Well, the rebuild is already underway, Sean. You know, we've spoke about this in depth, really. You know, we're 3 or 4 months into the rebuild, you know, the Ineos rebuild. And I think they recruited very well in the summer. So, yeah, I mean, they're appointing a manager that they think best suits the way that they want to play and the players that they've already got. So, we've got to trust them. We've just got to trust them. I feel like we'll be here again in 24 months. Well, Dylan, sign out then and come back in 24 months and I'll speak to you then because I'm not having any of that bollocks, nonsense, negativity. You know what I mean? People were shouting for Erik ten Hag out, you know, and now we're being linked with another manager. I don't want to hear any of that nonsense, okay? Nonsense. Let's see. He will need a proven striker to play 3-4-3, says Michael. Let's see. Dante says, hello from me and Holly Stedman. Good to see you guys. Thanks for joining. Dizzle says, he needs a full fit squad first, so we need to give him time. Do you think Rude would stay on with him? Well, that's something that we're going to have to, you know, find out over the next few days and weeks, I suppose. You know, coaches tend to have their own... I don't see us getting rid of Ruud van Nistelrooy and Rennie Haek, you know, after just appointing him in the summer. It wouldn't make sense, would it? I don't know. Maybe so. I don't know. You would have to pay their contracts out as well, wouldn't you? You know, so I don't know. I think Omar Barada was one of the people behind the possible Amorim appointment. I do trust him well, as he was one of the brains behind bringing Pep to City. So you never know. He's good at it. Dylan says Chelsea needs to be game one for him. Hammer them and then we're back. Rick says a lot of these players came from Erik ten Hag. It's only the old players like Delors, Bruno, Rashford. Well, the players signed this summer didn't come from Erik ten Hag. They came from a collective of Ashworth, Barada, ten Hag, Wilcox. You know, we spoke about this in depth. The players signed this summer, Yoro, De Ligt, Mazraoui, Ugarte and Xerxes were club signings, not Erik ten Hag signings. Now, the ones before that, we're talking about Onana, I think is having a brilliant season. Martinez, great signing. Casemiro's probably in his last season. Ericsson on a free was a great signing. Hoyland was a great signing. Now, there have been duds as well. Anthony, of course, is the main one. You know what I mean? So, look, I think I think there's not as big a clear out now. You've still got some of the players from the old regime. Maybe your Harry Maguire's, your Victor Lindelof's, your, Luke Shaw's, so on and so forth, that we could still maybe get with moving on. Yeah, I think we've made really, really good progress in clearing out the squad in the summer just gone. You know what I mean? We sold, I think, 14 players in the summer gone. So, yeah. Don't agree that Ineos recruitment being set up correctly at all? What particular style are these signings set up for? Well, you tell me. I mean, like, it's up to the manager to play and pick the team and set up his tactics and so on and so forth. But Ineos are appointing a manager who plays an awful lot of the same traits and the same ideology that Eric Ten Hag has. You know what I mean? High intensity, transition football, high press. You know, Ten Hag just didn't do it. You know what I mean? He was too stubborn in his 4-3-3. This guy does the same, but he does it in different ways. He does it one way if it's working, and then if it's not working, you've got injuries, he can switch from a 3-4-3 to a 4-2-3-1, so on and so forth. So I think there's more adaptability with Amorim than there was with Eric Ten Hag. And I think that's an improvement. Amorim can't make that mistake bringing in loads of sporting players. Lads, can we get off of this? You know what I mean? He is not going to bring in a lot of sporting players. You know what I mean? We're under a new management structure. We're under new ownership. The new owners are not going to allow each manager to bring in all of their players. It doesn't work like that. We've now got a structure behind the scene with Wilcox, Barada, Vivell, Dan Ashworth, you know what I mean? And whoever the manager is, all discussing on who should be the players that we sign. It's not the manager going, here's the players I want, go get them for me. We're not under Ed Woodward anymore. You know what I mean? Jose Mourinho isn't the manager. Ed Woodward isn't the fucking CEO. It's a new regime at Manchester United that, you know, sign players by committee, not by individual managers. You know what I mean? These are not high-pressing signings, nor are they possession-based signings. Well, I think high-pressing signings, they certainly are. If you see the amount of energy and work rate that forward line gives you. Now, I will admit, not consistently, but Rasmus Højlund on his day, completely runs himself into the ground. Bruno Fernandes never stops running. Marcus Rashford, when he gets his finger out, does it. You know, you're talking about an Ugarte who is literally never stops running and already played under Amorim already. You know, you're already looking for fucking negatives. You know what I mean? And the man hasn't even been appointed. I just don't get some of the fan base. And I don't know how some of you are ever happy. You know, do ye ever smile? Do you ever crack a joke? Do you ever laugh at a joke? Because it's constant negativity when it comes to United all the time. You know what I mean? Screaming for Eric Ten Hag to be sacked for the last fucking 6 months. Now that he is, you're already criticising the guy who hasn't even been fucking given the job yet. You know what I mean? Jesus, Mary and Joseph, I just don't get you sometimes. Now, that's not all of you, that's just some of you, you know what I mean? But Sean, you're obviously new, and I respect all of your opinions, you know, absolutely. It's the first time I've seen you comment, but you literally haven't put up anything positive yet, you know, and you're entitled to do that. That's absolutely no problem, but I just think we need to get behind the decisions that are being made and support the club. We've been ran into the fucking ground for 20 years by the Glazers, and we've finally got people behind the scenes who know what they're fucking doing. And some people just want to criticise him. You know what I mean? Doesn't make sense to me. Anyway. Oshin says, why all the negativity already? I know things are bad, but Amorim isn't even in the door. Dylan says, do you think Amorim will take any shit from these players? Do you think he subs Bruno off? I don't know. I don't know. We'll find out, won't we? 352 Amorim in, you fucking beauty. Let's see. The fan base makes no sense. We're nearly worse than Arsenal. We did this under Ollie and Jose. Give Amorim time and let the professionals do their work. Negativity won't help this. It's a process. Sean says, what exactly are you positive about? The club is in 14th. I'm positive about the changes that we're making. How can you not be positive about that? You know what I mean? We're 14th with the manager that just got sacked. The fact that he's gone, is that not a positive? You know what I mean? A massive rebuild isn't needed. You know what I mean? A continuation of the current rebuild is needed. Not another rebuild. You know what I mean? The rebuild has already started. The rebuild started when Jim Radcliffe took over and he fixed the foundations of the club first. He got a sporting director in, a director of football, a new CEO. He changed the foundation of the club rather than buying a new fucking striker. Oh, because that'll fix everything. No, he got behind the scenes right first. Okay? People who know what they're doing and know what they're talking about. And it's going to take time for them to, identify players to sign. It's not going to be one transfer window. It's going to be 2, 3, 4 transfer windows before we see the fruits of that labour. It really is. And that's why they're talking about 2028 as the year that they want United to be back challenging for the Premier League title. You know what I mean? It's not a new rebuild. It's a continuation of the rebuild that's already started. So it is. Get behind the manager, whoever it is. Glory days at United are over for a while, but let's be positive while we're building towards glory again. All we wanted, and we said this with Ten Hag, all we wanted was to see progress. And we had enough when we didn't see progress anymore. You know what I mean? He got a pass with last season because there were so many injuries. We continue to get the same amount of poor performances this season, and he's gone. You know what I mean? Let's see. Yeah, D says, what are you negative about? How is anyone supposed to lift us up the league without even being here yet? Perk up a wee bit. There we go. Amorim not even confirmed and people angry. A joke, says David. Let's see. You're making me laugh. You just said it will take 3, 4 transfer windows. How is that another rebuild? What? How is that? Sean, I don't know what you're on about, man. You know what I mean? The rebuild started when the club was bought and the ownership changed. That's when the rebuild started. We're currently in the fucking rebuild. You know what I mean? There was 4 rebuilds before Ten Hag, or before fucking Ineos took over, because there was 4 different managers who bought 4 fucking sets of different players. Ineos are not doing that. Ineos are buying the players that they want, because if they have to change the manager, they will get a manager that suits the players that they have and the style of football that they want to play at the club. You know what I mean? That's why they're supposedly going for Amorim, because a lot of his traits and the way his football philosophy is very similar to Erik Ten Hag, with a couple of improvements. I cannot make it any simpler than that. You know what I mean? It's not another rebuild. It's the same rebuild that started 12 months ago when Jim Ratcliffe took over. It's as simple as that. And if you cannot understand that now, I can't, you know what I mean? I can't make it any simpler. I just can't make it any simpler. You know what I mean? No, he's not going to get banned. He's not going to get banned. You know what I mean? For people who are saying, ban him in the chat. He's entitled to his opinion. He's entitled to his opinion. Everybody is entitled to their opinion. Just because I don't agree with it doesn't mean he's not entitled to it. He's entitled to his opinion. He's not going to get banned. Spartacus says 14th place just not good enough. Something had to change. I agree. Big A said, so if this manager doesn't cut it, who is to blame then? Well, who is to blame? Everybody will have to take a bit of blame. What we were saying, Big A, is that the honeymoon period is now over for Ineos because they didn't appoint Erik Ten Hag. So anything that goes wrong from here on in terms of manager appointments has to be laid at the feet of Ineos. It's as simple as that. You know what I mean? They haven't got a grace period anymore. Let's see. This geezer under the impression that buying 3 players in one transfer window is a complete rebuild. The Phenom is in. He says Amorim feels like the Euro signing, a type of signing that many would have said was out of the club's reach. Ineos keep impressing with their moves, in my opinion. There we go. A bit of positivity in the chat. Love to see it. Love to see it. David says, Sean is out for an argument for the sake of it. Let's see. What else have we got? So not the players then, says Big A. No, well, look, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen in the future, do we? Like, we don't know, is it going to be the players that, down tools again? Or is the manager just going to be getting the system wrong and 3-4-3 is not working, or whatever the case may be? The one thing I would say to you is, don't be looking for what we're going to do if it fails in the future already. When, we're already, that you're already focusing on the negatives. You know what I mean? Yeah. So let's see. Right, we've got some updates from Plettigol coming out of Germany. Let's see what he's saying here. We'll get it up on the screen for you. He says that the most important contract details between Manchester United and Ruben Amorim have already been agreed. Only a few details remain. A complete agreement is not an obstacle. Negotiations are underway between the clubs. Amorim would move to United immediately, but he is not putting any internal pressure on Sporting out of respect. He will only make the move if all sides find a reasonable resolution. Sporting especially need to find a successor. So the first part of that would suggest that it's absolutely 100% done and dusted. He's going to be the next manager. However, the second part here, he will only make the move if all sides, Sporting, need to find a successor, may mean that this could drag on for, a week or two. You never know. Now, I don't know if that's the case. Maybe Sporting have already found a replacement or have one in mind that they'll be going to. I would especially think that would be the case if United have been in contact with them for the last few days at least, you know what I mean, before Erik ten Hag was actually sacked. But that remains to be seen, and we'll find more out on that in the coming few days. But all of the reports coming out are suggesting that he is the next Manchester United manager without the official sign-off and the official statement from United. It looks like he's going to be the one. Kind of off topic, but yeah, someone is saying in the chat that Rodri won the Ballon d'Or. Yeah, it's funny how a Man City player won the Ballon d'Or and the whole world is talking about Manchester United. There's levels to this. There's absolute levels to this. So there is. Sir Jim has been here 12 months already. Time flies, says David. I think Glazers ruined Ten Hag if he was. Let's see, what else have we got? Ben says, looking at the big picture, the players will have to pull the finger out and prove themselves again to a new manager, which can only be a positive. Shaw might even be fit next week. You never know. Well, look, I mean, we always talked, didn't we? And we said it, was it last season or the season before? It seemed like Man United played, every time a team sacked the manager in the Premier League, we turned out to be playing that team that weekend and they got a new manager bounce. So let's hope we get a new manager bounce, you know what I mean? Whether that just be for Ruud van Nistelrooy or whether Amorim is going to be appointed as quickly as possible. It's about the style Amorim brings. Exactly. The style that he brings is what's most important there. And I think, I think it's quite similar to the way that Ineos want us to play. David, welcome to the members club. I appreciate the support as always, my man. Absolute legend. I do appreciate it. We are doing the Manchester United quiz for members only. When did I say I was going to do it? Friday night, is it? I think Friday night. So members only, guys. We'll do. Episode 1 is already up, and we've obviously had a bit of a delay on episode 2, but we're going to be doing it this week. So make sure if you do want to get involved in that members only live. Link is in the description. Join just like David did there. I appreciate the support, David, as always. Let's everybody welcome David to the members club in the chat as well. Happy days. Let's see. Sean says, I just don't agree that Ineos have bought for a specific player type in order to be a pressing setup, which Amorim uses. Fair enough, Ugarte is, but De Ligt isn't going to set up on the halfway line. Well, De Ligt has set up on the halfway line, literally for Juventus and Bayern Munich. So, you know what I mean? Ugarte is a high-pressing player. Højlund is a high-pressing player. Rashford can do it. Bruno can do it. Garnacho is young, can do it. It's about mentality more than anything else, I think, Sean. I think what we shouldn't be focusing on here is maybe, who we brought in, but maybe what the manager can get out of the players that are there. You know what I mean? And maybe that's what this guy's been brought in to do, to get that pressing style out of this squad. And this squad is relatively new with each other. Anyway, Mazraoui, high energy, tempo player. Ugarte, De Ligt. I'm sure Yoro is going to be like that when he comes in. Delot is a high intensity player. Ugarte in the midfield now alongside Bruno Fernandes. Kobbie Mainoo is a bit more slicker, a bit more laid back. Forward line of real youth and pace. So yeah, I think we can. Play a pressing game. Absolutely. D says, some of our fan base are just never happy. Could win the league and FA Cup and they'd be fuming because we didn't win the quadruple. Let's see, what else have we got here? Loads of comments, guys. Sorry if I don't get to all your comments. They're absolutely flying in, which is great to see. Smash a like on the video, guys, as well. Nearly 70 people watching and only 26 likes. You should be ashamed of yourselves with that like count now. Very, very poor. Get them likes up. Let's get to 50 likes if we can. And do subscribe if you're new to the channel as well, guys. I do appreciate it, as always. Sporting play on the front foot. They go after a similar to Maresca at Chelsea. There we go. The turnaround starts tonight, says D. Cheers, says David. Welcome, man. I appreciate the support, as always. Let's see. You said Thursday, but that's Halloween. Yeah, Thursday is out because I'm obviously bringing the little one trick-or-treating. And the little lad as well, both of them. So, we'll do Friday. Because we've got a watch-along to do on Wednesday night as well. So, there we go. De Ligt has been on the halfway line, high press for 2 other clubs, says D. Dylan says, if Delors missed chances like he did Sunday, goodbye for him. Let's see, what else we got? Sean is way off. De Ligt is a high-line defender, the same as Martinez. High-line defenders are supposed to see the play and step in, not chase. There we go. So yeah, look, I mean, it's been a roller coaster of 24 hours. I have to say, it's been absolutely crazy, to be quite honest with you. This time yesterday, I was severely hungover, and but this time yesterday we were talking about the Erik ten Hag reign and how long more was it going to go on, and we were disappointed about the result against West Ham. We were talking about VAR, and 24 hours later Erik ten Hag is sacked, and we're pretty close to appointing a new manager straight away. So it just goes to show how quickly Ineos are working and moving. And yeah, I've been really impressed with him. I have to say, I've been really impressed with him. Thursday is a nightmare little one's birthday as well, so it'll be a madhouse here, says Ben. And D says, I stand by my statement. Yeah, guys, as well, I want to promote a little bit more some of the things we've got, all linked below in the live chat. Join the Discord if you haven't done so already, and do join our WhatsApp. Have I got the WhatsApp up there as well? I don't. Maybe can Chris or Ben or someone, can you please put the link to the WhatsApp in the live chat there, if you don't mind? Yeah, people join the WhatsApp. I'm not personally in the WhatsApp because my phone number, of course, is there. And yeah, I started getting a lot of prank calls, so I had to remove myself from it. But if you want to interact with me, Discord is the place to do it as well. Let's try and promote the Discord and get that going a little bit more as well. But there's plenty of links to everywhere else down below, guys. We've got, obviously, Twitter. We've got Instagram. We've got TikTok. Of course, YouTube and so on and so forth. So yeah, make sure you're doing all of that as well. The guys will put up the link to the WhatsApp in the live chat there as well, and you can all join that as well. Let's see, and yeah, as well, you might see the outline of a little Ronnie starting here. We will be doing Movember again this year, guys, raising money for great charities, men's mental health and suicide prevention as well. I will have the link in the I will have the link in the description on Wednesday night for the watch along, and I'll have the tash fully shaved in. We'll go clean shaven everywhere else, and we'll just leave the tash. As you can see, there we go. The tash. It's already appearing there in the live chat as well. So yeah, look, the link is there, guys. I'll pin it. Let me see. It's pinned to the top of the live chat there. If you want to join the WhatsApp group, please do. But do join the Discord group as well. It's a great platform, in fairness, to get like voice messages up and share an awful lot of stuff. If you do want to get involved in that, we're there as well. I have a feeling we're going to have a lot more to talk about between now and maybe this time tomorrow night. So I may have to do the live a little bit later tomorrow night, because I will have training with my own team tomorrow. So we might do maybe 9:30 tomorrow rather than 9 o'clock. But the one thing I would say, guys, is turn on notifications. Subscribe and turn on them notifications. As soon as we go live, a little notification will pop up on your phone. You can just pop in, say hello, see what we're talking about, hit the like button maybe, and then, go about your merry way. So there we go. Yeah, Tony says he joined the Discord and has requested to join the WhatsApp. There we go. We've got some admins in charge of the WhatsApp there as well, guys. So they will accept any new people looking to join there as well. Chris, Ben, and Ushin there as well. So yeah, appreciate it as always, guys. Smash a like on the video. Like I said, did we get to 50? We didn't get to 50. We got to 34 likes. Anyway, tomorrow night, maybe 9:30 or so, we'll be going live. Like I said, turn on them notifications. Thanks for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it as always. Smash that like button on your way out if you haven't done so. Subscribe if you're new. I'll see you tomorrow. Take it easy.